Hi, everyone. How did yesterday go for you? Were you able to reach out to your warm networking connection and have a conversation with them or set up a call at a future date and time? Whatever it was, if you haven't commented about that yet in that thread on the Facebook page, go ahead and make sure to do that. But today, we're going to talk about cold networking. Now, I want to acknowledge right off the bat, this can be a little scary or daunting. We are going to approach cold networking from your place of value and service. In other words, how are you going to help someone by networking with them? You may have heard the phrase about serve first, ask later. Well, in cold networking, this is even more important. And what you'll find is that when you connect with somebody who shares the same networking philosophy, some great things can actually happen. Some really good synergy happens. I've had that happen multiple times throughout my career and in my life. So I want to look at this from two very distinct perspectives. And I'm going to post a document for you to take a look at in regards to what we're going to talk about here about cold networking. I don't think I said that real clearly, but basically, like, just look at the document. You also have the section in the book around networking that I want you to take a look at as well. But the first thing are in-person networking events. These are the ones where you walk into a room with a group of people and you get the name tag or you put your business card in your name badge and you start talking to people. And that can be a little bit scary. To help you navigate that event, I want to be clear on a few things. First of all, find a really good networking event where your people are going to be at. These are people who would be really good networking connections for you. And secondly, define what success looks like for you at that event. In other words, how many people do you have to meet that you would consider to be a really strong networking connection in order for you to make it feel like your time was worthwhile? For me, my answer is always one. I feel like if I go to a networking event and I meet one really good connection that I'm going to stay in contact with, that's going to reap its benefits over and over and over again. You may need a higher number than that, whatever that is. You get to decide. But if you think about it, just make one really good connection. There's got to be at least one person in the room that's a really good connection, right? But when we come from this place of value and service, we're always showing up, though, as being a great networking connection for everybody we meet. Now, it may also help you to bring someone along to an event like this. Sometimes people do like the buddy system. What I always suggest in this case is have a clear time when you're going to leave and then go do something fun. Maybe you go get a drink or a bite to eat or some ice cream, whatever that is, but have time to just spend time with your friend, your colleague, whoever you went with, and have a chance to decompress after the event. Now, when you think about meeting someone you've never met before, whether it's online or in person, our brain is on the defense. In other words, it's listening very closely to what the other person is saying. So imagine we were at a networking event and I came up to you and you said to me, John, it's nice to meet you. Tell me what you do. And I said, well, I actually sell windows and doors for people's houses. How good are your windows and doors right now? How would you feel? More than likely, you're probably turned off. At least I know I am. But if I came up to you and I said something like, it's really nice to meet you. I actually help people save thousands of dollars a year. And I love the fact that I get to save people money every year. And they go, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. I love saving money. Tell me how you do that. Now I can go into a little bit more about what I do. Our brain is then programmed a little bit differently to receive that conversation because of one simple word: I help. To come from a place of value and service, we have to help. We help based on our unique professional value. It's why, as you've gotten to know me or you've seen things about me online, that my unique professional value is I help mid-career professionals. So when I'm at a networking event, what I'll do are things like I'll say to people, I help mid-career professionals figure out what's next. Or if I feel like giving them the whole statement, I'll say, I help mid-career professionals prepare, position, and promote who they are and what they do so they can show up to find a job they love or love the job they have. Notice in both of those examples, I never said I'm a coach. I choose not to because I want to control the narrative. If I tell people I'm a coach, it's going to give them the opportunity to default to whatever they think about coaching and coaches are. But if I say to them, here's who I help and here's what I help them do specifically, because I've spent time working on my unique professional value statement, now the conversation can be different. Networking, whether it be cold or warm networking, is all about serving the other person. I love connecting people. So if they're not a great connection for me, there's probably somebody in my network who's an even better connection for them. And then being able to connect people is one of the things I really enjoy doing. Now, when you are cold networking online, such as LinkedIn, we are still going to come from that place of value and service, but we have to navigate it just a little differently. If you are getting used to using LinkedIn or you're actively on LinkedIn, the thing is, they don't know you. They see your profile. And if you've done the tips in the book around optimizing your LinkedIn profile and what we did here in the challenge, your professional presence and branding is certainly better than what it was, but they don't know you. So if you just click the connect button on somebody, they don't know who you are from anybody else. It is why we must always include a personal message when we are connecting with somebody. And I give a couple examples of this in the book, but basically it's something like, Dear John, I wanted to connect with you because. Find something in their profile that's going to tell them why you want to connect with them. Maybe it's a shared connection, similar industry, went to the same school, have the same interests. Whatever it may be, share that. That will at least start building some relationship with them. Now, once you send that connection request, and that first connection request has a message of only 300 characters, they're either going to accept and reply, accept and not reply, or not respond and not connect with you. We're not going to worry about the last because they don't want to connect with you. We're not going to waste time and energy on that. If they connect with you and respond, find ways to keep the conversation going. The best way to do that is by asking them open-ended questions about themselves. Get to know them a little bit more. Build the know, like, and trust factor. If they accept your connection but do not respond, wait about 24 or 48 hours and then send a follow-up message that begins with, Dear John, thank you so much for accepting my connection request. Here's why I wanted to connect with you again. Now expand on it because now you can give them as much information as possible. We are not asking or selling them anything at this point. We are just building the relationship. And ultimately, as you keep asking open-ended questions, you can always go and ask them if they'd like to go to a virtual coffee or have a quick phone call with you. Now, when doing that, here are a couple of tips that I absolutely set ground rules for how I show up for these kinds of meetings. The first thing is that first phone call is a 15-minute phone call or 30 at the most. If it's 30, it's because we've exchanged a lot of messages back and forth, and I feel like we've got a lot to talk about. But 15 minutes tends to work well, and always, always, always respect the time. Do not go over. If someone is kind enough to give you 15 minutes, respect them and their time. And if you find yourself running over, either A, ask if you can continue the conversation. And if so, let them know how many minutes, 5, 10, 15, or ask them when they need to leave the call. Or secondly, set up a follow-up call. Something as simple as, hey, thank you so much for meeting me today. I really enjoyed it. I know we only set up 15 minutes, and I do have another call after this. Would it be okay with you if we scheduled another phone call in the next week or two? What are they going to say? Yes or no? And depending on how they answer, it's going to tell you where you're going to move from there. But when we're cold networking, we have to give it time. It is very much like a slow burn. We're warming them up because eventually you're going to ask them for something. What's a connection? Is your company hiring? What advice can you give me? At that point, then they're going to be more inclined to share that information with you. We have to treat cold connections and warm connections very differently. And the way you get good at this is you get to be bad at it. It's okay to be a little bad at it and a little messy, right? Everybody is bad at networking at some point. I have been bad at networking of many, many times in my life. I am better at it now because I do it every week, but it's okay to be a little messy with it. We're not perfect. So if you make a mistake, you flub something up, you ask too soon, you disrespect, like just apologize, be gracious, be respectful, and move forward. That's all, right? That person who you're going to connect with is either going to be in your professional life for a moment or a season or a lifetime, right? You often hear the phrase about people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It's the same thing here. So give yourself permission to be a little messy with networking, but always show up trying to do your best when you're networking. Okay, here's what I want you to do for today. I want you to read the document that is posted after this video, and I want you to identify one person on LinkedIn who you do not know and send them a connection request and see if they accept. They may or may not be as really active on LinkedIn as you are, but I want you to get into the practice of sending that message out. Just one. And let's see where it goes. Comment in below this video to let me know how it's going for you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and following your progress on the stuff we've talked about the last couple of days regarding networking. All right. Make it a great rest of the day. Thanks.